Is this thing on? Is this thing working? Must be. My face is there. Oh well. Let's give this a go and see if it works. Right then. Now then, this is something I don't normally do. I very rarely upload stuff to YouTube, especially stuff like this. So, what I'm going to do is stuff that a load of other people on YouTube do every flipping day. And I've never done it before. So, it's the first time for everything, I suppose. Now, there's loads of food reviewers, loads of drink reviewers, loads of beer reviewers, and all sorts of reviewers of food and drink and beer and all sorts of things on YouTube. They'll show it, they'll cook it, they'll taste it, they'll give it a review, they'll give it a score out of 10. And then that's basically, and then they'll say like and subscribe, do whatever you want. So basically, I've not done that before, so first time for everything, I'm going to do something tonight. And there are loads of those that do it a lot better than I do, so I'm going to shut up and just basically get on with it. Right, what I'm going to do is these two beers, right? Okay, yeah, beers. I know someone who might be watching this is going to say, oh, alky, pisshead. Like I said, I don't do this very often, and it's probably this is the first time I've done this, and it's probably going to be the last, maybe. Right then, okay, here's where we are. Now then, you may have heard, well, of course you will have heard, of a beer called Madri. It's basically available everywhere. It's been out for about 6 years now, and it's supposedly a Spanish beer. It's not Spanish at all. It's apparently the Molson Coors who brew this stuff have teamed up with an actual Spanish brewer in Spain, but it's brewed here in England, here in the UK. So this stuff has never been anywhere near Spain. It's called Madri Excepcional. And about 5 or 6 years ago, it came out, and it's now basically everywhere. All the shops, all the supermarkets, all loads of bars and pubs and clubs. I think probably the only licensed establishment you won't see this, definitely won't see this, is Wetherspoons. I think. I'm not sure. Anyway. But anyway, it's called Madri Excepcional, and I class it as a Spanish style beer. It's brewed in Burton-On-Trent, where they make Carling and Coors by the Molson Coors Brewing Company. And it's in Burton-On-Trent. It's in the East Midlands, I think. Now, they market it as a Spanish beer, but it's been nowhere near Spain. But it's everywhere. And it's very popular, and it's alright, if you like fake Spanish beer. Now, Aldi and Lidl, the two German discount supermarkets, have their own versions. Now they have knockoff versions of everything, like Foster's. Well, Aldi has Galahad, which is basically more or less the same product. They taste more or less the same. They look exactly the same. They're probably both brewed at the same brewery. I don't know. Maybe they are. But Aldi have their own version of Madri called Grande. Now, the big difference is with Madri brewed in Burton-On-Trent in the Midlands, this is actually brewed in Spain. It's an actual Spanish lager. Well, let's compare the two. Right? Madri, Grande. Have I got that right? Grande. They look almost exactly the same. Typical Aldi knockoff. The difference is, one is brewed in Spain and is actual Spanish lager. One is brewed in England and pretends to be a Spanish lager. So what I'm going to do is a taste review. Now, I'm going to be honest, I have had these before. I've had Madri loads of times, but I've only had this Grande once before from Aldi. I think I quite liked it. But I think it was over 2 years ago when they first brought it out. So anyway, what I'm going to do is actually, before I go any further, before I actually start, I'm going to get a glass of water and so like have a palate cleanser. So give me a sec. I'll just go over here. Put some water in the glass. Basically so I can cleanse my palate between each one. So right, first of all, most well-known one, Madri. Brewed in Burton-On-Trent. Basically, it's brewed in the same brewery as Carling, which is 4%. This is 4.5%. So from what I've heard, this is technically Carling Black Label in a red can. Remember Carling Black Label, if you're old enough to remember, from the 80s and 90s? So there's that. And there's this Grande, which is 4.6. So a little bit stronger, not much. But it's actually Spanish. That isn't. So I'm going to open them both, give them both a taste, compare them, have a little bit of a palate cleanse between the two, and say what I think. Now, beer reviewers, all established beer reviewers on YouTube, they'll have a smell of it and say what it smells like and describe what it smells like. I'm not going to do any of that. I'm just going to crack them open and taste them and tell you what I think. So, basically, let's go for the main one. The usual suspect, if you like. Madri. Like I said, it's basically everywhere. It's in all the supermarkets, it's in almost every bar and pub up and down the land. Like I said, probably the only place you can't get it is Wetherspoon. So, let's crack it open. So, yeah, smells alright. Typical British brewed lager. Right, I'll crack open the other one. Yeah, smells about the same, really. But the difference is the taste. Let's see how they taste. So, let's taste the Madri one first. Now, if you know what Carling tastes like, you'll probably recognise the flavour of this. It basically, in my experience, it's a bit like Carling, but slightly stronger. Like I said, it's a bit like Carling Black Label from the 80s and 90s. So, let's just. No, if I poured it into a glass and did the sniff test, I'd probably be able to describe what it smells like. But no, I'm going to do that. I'm just going to have a swig of it and see what I think. Okay, here goes. Okay, it's okay. Tastes like typical British brewed lager, and it does taste a lot like Carling. And like I said, it tastes like a stronger version of Carling. Now, when Carling Black Label was a thing back in the 80s, I wasn't old enough to drink legally. So I don't know what actual Carling Black Label tastes like when it was called Carling Black Label. I only know what it tastes like now that it's called just Carling. Said it's 4%, but I think it's about 3.7 or something like that. But that's beside the point. Anyway, let's have one more swig of this. Very bitter. Yeah. Like I said, it just tastes like a slightly stronger version of Carling. Well, I say slightly stronger. It's a stronger version of Carling, basically. Because it's brewed in the same brewery. Let's just say there's the regular Carling, and there's Coors. Now, this is 4.5. Carling claims to be 4.0 ABV, and up until fairly recently, Coors was 4.0, but that's gone down to 3.4. And I tried some of that recently, and it was basically tasteless. It just tastes like fizzy water with a bit of beer poured into it, and it was crap. It was basically literally, well, not literally, but well, if you're familiar with GTA, pisswasser. So let's have one quick last swig of this, and then we'll move on to the Aldi knockoff, which is actually proper Spanish lager. So yeah, like I said, tastes like Carling, but a bit stronger. Carling is 4.0 ABV, but I think it's more like 3.7 these days. This claims to be 4.5. It's probably close to 4.2 or 4.3. I think it's a margin of error of 0.3 something, 0.3 or something. Anyway, that's beside the point. But that's Madri. Basically, it's a stronger version of Carling, but that's pretending to be a Spanish lager. But it isn't. I think, do you know what? I think trade descriptions could get involved with this, because people might be misled into thinking this is actual Spanish beer. It isn't. You could call it Spanish style beer, to be honest, it isn't even that. It's just branded with, it's just got Spanish language branding on it, and that's about it. That's about as Spanish as it gets. So, Cerveza Español, this is not. Right, let's move on to Grande. Not Ariando, not Ariari. Sorry, I can't get any fucking words out. Excuse my language. I've only had a few swigs, and I'm slurring my words already. The first drink I've had all day. Flipping out. As we're gonna say, not Ariara. Fucking hell. I can't even pronounce her first name, for crying out loud. Aria Grande. Crying out loud. Let's just say Grande. This is Aldi's version of Madri, and it is Spanish lager. Producto de España. Just have a closer look at that. Closer look at the Madri. Excepcional. Nothing exceptional about it, really. De Madrid. Like I said, this stuff's they partnered with a Spanish brewery, but it's still brewed over here. So, I've already told you what I think of the Madri. It just tastes like a stronger version of Carling. Now, Aldi's knockoff version called Grande. Let's go. Oh, hang on. Nearly forgot. Palate cleanser. Bog standard Whitefield tap water. Right. Palate cleansed. Now, onto this. Grande from Aldi. Lidl do a version called Sabor or Sabor. I might do that as well at some point. But meanwhile, let's try this. Do you know what? Already, that tastes so much better. That's got more taste. It's not massively much better, but it is better. It is better. For a start, it doesn't taste like a stronger version of Carling. There's a fruit fly flying around. Bugger off. But yeah, it does taste better than that. I mean, that stuff's alright, but it ain't perfect. And this stuff ain't perfect either, but it is better than that. So let's have another quick swig of it. You can tell it's slightly stronger. And that's 4.5. This is 4.6. So ABV wise, barely any difference. But you can tell the difference in taste. And this is actually brewed in Spain. That's brewed in somewhere in the Midlands. Burton-On-Trent. Let's see what it says on here. Actually, I need my reading glasses to see what it says. But I know for a fact this is brewed in Spain. If you don't believe me, Google it. Google Aldi Grande versus Madri. Exceptional. That's brewed by Molson Coors in Burton-On-Trent. This is actually brewed in Spain and imported into the UK. So let's. There is actually a slight glucosey taste to it. I'm pretty sure this has got glucose in it. Now, this is the thing with mass-produced lagers. They use glucose. Not all of them. Pretty sure not all of them, but a lot of them do. Put glucose syrup in. It adds a slightly sweetness, adds a bit of sweetness to the taste, and it's maybe a bit of a flavour enhancer. Especially if they didn't put it, it would just taste like fizzy water. And basically, normal Carling and Coors just taste like fizzy water these days. But let's just have one last taste of both. So, quick swig of Madri. Now, unlike an actual pisshead alcoholic, will just go, ooh, glug, 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 plug it straight back. Literally go, ooh. Ah, ah. That no. Do you know what? Necking that stuff is not nice. When you've not had anything to drink, any sort of beer or anything else alcoholic to drink beforehand, necking that is not nice. I would only recommend necking that unless you've already had like 4 or 5 cans or at least 3 pints of either that or any other lager beforehand. Excuse me. It's repeating on me already. Oh, quick palate cleanse. So, yeah. Grande Spanish Lager from Aldi. The price of this is, for a pack of 4 cans, is £4.19 from the Aldi, just up the road, about 15 minutes walk from here, the Whitefield branch. Same with the Prestwich branch, which is a bit further down, just across there from Junction 17. £4.19. I've got a pack of 4 of these Madri. I think they were about £5.25 from Morrison's in City Centre of Manchester City Centre. Do you know what? If I had to choose, if I was having a sesh, a proper good sesh, an evening session where anything goes and just drink whatever you want and then throw up a few hours later, or wake up and find your duvets covered in sick. If I had to choose, basically, I'd go for this. I think I'd go for this. This Grande from Aldi. It costs less. It's slightly stronger. Tastes a little bit better. And it's actually made in Spain. So this is Spanish beer. It's cerveza español. Whereas this is beer made in Burton-On-Trent. So there you go. So, it's up to you. Whatever you like. If you like lager, take your pick. It's all down to personal preference at the end of the day. You might prefer Madri. You might prefer this from Aldi. And Lidl's version is called Sabor or Sabor, which is another Madri knockoff, but again, that is made in Spain. It might even be made in the same brewery that this Grande is made at. I don't know. I might do a similar video about it next week. Then again, I might not. But anyway, this is Madri. Basically, Carling Black Label from 1985 in a red can. And this, Aldi's knockoff version. I forgot to do the palate cleanser, but never mind. Nice taste. A little bit less bitter. More pleasant taste. Basically, if you're having a sesh, as some people might like to say, you're better off having this rather than that. And if you're preloading, having pre-drinks, again, it's up to you. But I personally would recommend this over this. But like I said, at the end of the day, it's up to you. Whatever you like. It's all down to personal preference. Me, personally, I'm not fussed either way. I'd rather have that over that. But next time at the Con Club, just up the road, they don't serve that, but they do serve that. So, when I'm at the Con Club, I'll have a pint of Crystal from Holtz's. Right, that's it. Basically, if you've enjoyed this, like and subscribe if you want. I don't care. That's it. Thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. You might be frigging bored. I don't care. Actually, no, I do care. Anyway, I'm going to stop waffling. I'm going to stop the video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.